Today we will be deconstructing the Game Boy SP Color. For the initial deconstruction, you must first remove the battery by taking off the back cover. Inside you will find a rechargeable lithium-ion battery. In order to deconstruct the rest of the system, you must use a specially designed tri-wedge screwdriver that is used for Nintendo game systems. Here you must unscrew the back 4 screws in order to get to the insides of the Game Boy SP. The Game Boy SP has many external ports. On the back you will find the game cartridge entrance, where you can put the games you want to play. Turning it around, you will find the on and off power switch, where you can turn the system on or off. On the back cover, you will find the left and right buttons for gameplay, a place to connect to other SPs to play with other people, and finally, the power plug to charge your battery. Finally, on the last side, you have your volume slider. Taking off the last 2 screws on the back of the cover, you will be able to open the system to get to the inner workings of the Game Boy SP. On this back cover, you will find where the cartridge goes. Here is the motherboard of the system. You will find the 2 external ports previously talked about and the left and right buttons on the top. On the side you can see the volume slider that was talked about previously, and on the left side you have the battery connection where it hooks up with to power the system. On the bottom you see the cartridge connector where the actual game plugs in. And finally on the right you have a switch to turn off and off the system. Some of the level 2 SIP parts of the system are the main CPU at the top and the memory as well at the top. On the left side you'll see a 40T transistor, and on the right you'll see a 4-volt capacitor. Finally, on the left you'll see a KDSI 0320 chip. Taking out the final 2 screws, you can take the motherboard out of the outer casing. There will be a strip of metallization that connects the motherboard with the screen. You must carefully unplug this strip of video connector. This material is very flexible so that when you open the system, it does not damage the screen resolution. Looking at the top of the motherboard, you will find all of the connections to the buttons. As you can see, at the top of the motherboard, you can see the connections to the start button and options button. On the side, you have an integrated chip, the D-pad buttons, and a capacitors on the bottom. In the middle, you have the backlight LED. And finally, on the left, you have the A and B buttons, the audio speaker, and the screen pinholes on the bottom that connect the screen of the Game Boy SP to the motherboard. If you look at the other side of the casing, you will find the speaker sitting in the middle of the case, as well as the plastic pieces for the button. This is for the D-pad. These are all for the singular A button and other buttons that you'll find, including the start button. You will find these plastic coverings over all the buttons in order to make good connections with the pads on the motherboard. This is the audio speaker that sits in the center of this piece. Finally, we will deconstruct the screen of the system. As you can see, the casing is made out of 2 parts that are put together with screws. By unscrewing the top of the screen, you will be able to get to the actual physical screen. The back of the screen pops off, and you will find that the screen falls out very easily. The strip that you took off before on the motherboard now has to be slid out in order to take the screen fully out. And here you have it, the screen of the Game Boy SP. Thank you for listening. to the deconstruction video for the Game Boy Color SP.